Hey y'all. So I think I got most of the funeral services posted now. I think the only thing I don't have is the preaching part, and I can't play the pictures because the songs will make it copyright. So mom and I just got back from a trip and I am officially going back to work. So I wanted to make a video because it'll probably be a while before I can make another one. I wanted to tell y'all about our trip and how that was and just things we're learning about grief. So we went to Bella Vista, Arkansas. Back in November, my husband and I took an anniversary trip to Bella Vista and we fell in love. It's so beautiful over there. They have amazing weather. They have just like beautiful nature. And we went during fall whenever they had all the pretty colors. So it was just amazing and we fell in love. So since I knew I was going back to work soon, I wanted to take a little trip with mom. And my daughter had a softball game in North Louisiana on Thursday. So I figured since we've already driven like 4 hours north, we could drive like 5 or 6 more hours and just take the same trip to Arkansas. So Thursday we left, and on our way out, we stopped at Community First Bank in New Iberia. One of the workers reached out to me. It was sometime in December, it was right after the accident, and said that they had a man that they rolled coins for. He owned a car wash and he gifted them with a gift card for all their hard work for his business all year long. And they all wanted to gift it to us. Just, they felt horrible and they wanted to do something special for us. So we thought that was super sweet, but we had a lot going on, planning the funerals. Mom was still in the hospital, all of that. So I never got around to go and pick it up from them. So finally, we had some time on our way out. It worked out and we stopped by. We met up with Miss Rita, who is the one who contacted me, and all of the ladies in there were so sweet. um, One of them came out with a picture of her granddaughter. Her name was Kennedy, I believe, and she was beautiful. She was 14 and she passed away in a jet skiing accident, and that was just so sad. And she had a connection with us, and it's a really special time to meet all of these ladies. And the president of the bank came out and told us how he was just so proud of his employees, and he thought it was so special that they went out on their own and wanted to do this, and he matched what they gave us. So essentially they paid for our entire little getaway, which was so awesome. So Community First Bank, I'm definitely going to check you out for my banking needs because that was super special. They weren't doing that for any type of, advertisement at all and nothing like that. So that's super important to me. But let me back up. The day that we left for the trip was also the 3-month anniversary of the accident. So the night before, a lady named Reese came visit with us. She is the founder of the Rescue Group, and they help parents who lose children. Amazing organization. I'm going to be working with them, so you'll learn more about them soon. But she came visit with us the night before, brought us some special things that she had collected from the kids, like some samples of their hair and stuff, had some stuffed animals and all of that. And she also lost a child, which is, her drive to start that organization. And she said that, yeah, the milestones are hard, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. And, I didn't think much of it. Well, the next morning, I woke up, and I knew it was the 3-month anniversary, and I went and dropped my little boy off at daycare. And I told his sitter that we were we were going on a trip because I was about to go back to work. And she said, oh yeah, today makes 3 months. And although I knew that day, that morning, I knew it made 3 months, I hadn't thought about it that day yet. And my eyes instantly welled up with tears. I got so extremely emotional, like uncontrollably. I drove to my mom's house to go pick her up. I cried the entire way. And the cemetery is in between our houses. Like, it's like about 10 minutes from both of us, but in the middle. So on the way there, I stopped at the cemetery and it was just unbearable. Like, I hadn't had a day like quite that bad in a while. Um, so I told my mom, when I walked in, she immediately knew I had been crying, and we already knew what kind of day it was gonna be. So, ended up, so my mom had got prescribed some anxiety medicine. They had actually given it to all of us for the funeral, and I don't like to rely on that. But this is one occasion where I had to. I just knew I couldn't drive all that way without any help, and it helped me so much. So that I'm just starting to learn with grief, sometimes I'll need a little extra help. Most of the time I can get through it on my own, but grief is just it's an uncharted territory for me, for my mom, for everyone. um so it's a roller coaster, and we're learning new things every day about it. Unfortunately, it's just part of our lives now. So we drove the 4 hours to the Shreveport area. So the game started at 2:30, and me and my mom were a little bit late. We were pulling in like around 3:15, and my daughter texts me and says, "Don't come to the game. The umpires didn't show up." So we turn in and we talk to the coach's wife and everything. The umpires did not show up. So the other team had to forfeit. So they had to pay to rent a bus, drive 4 hours, or it probably took them like more than that, going, slower on a bus. Drove all the way out there, winning, and went back home. So, even though me and my mom were gonna stop halfway, sleep, and then drive the rest of the way, since we didn't have the game, we just drove the whole way. Which was, it kind of, I'm glad we did, because we had the entire day Friday and we didn't have to spend any of it driving. But I wanted her to see all like the beautiful mountains and stuff on the drive. But I knew we had the drive back. So I think we got there around 11, and that was that. So the next morning, the weather was disgusting. It was rainy, it was misting, it was overcast, it was just gross. And, that kind of plays into your mood. So I have this bucket list thing where I want to go to all 50 states. And my husband knew this when we went in November, and he drove me over the state line to Missouri, and he was like, "Oh, there we go, checked off a bucket list item. You've been to Missouri." But I knew that didn't count because we didn't even do anything. We crossed over the state line, and he turned into a gas station and turned back around. So um, me and my mom went to Walmart in Missouri and bought shirts that said Missouri, and then drove back over the state line. Um, we drove out to Eureka Springs just to show my mom like the view, but it was so nasty. Like, you really couldn't even see far because it was just this misty fog looking stuff. So really, I mean, it wasn't a horrible day, but it just wasn't anything special. Like, we didn't really get to do anything. The next day, the weather was beautiful. I mean, perfect temperatures, sunny, just beautiful. The first thing we did was went to Tanyard Creek. I posted a TikTok about that. Beautiful. I was kind of scared about mom being able to get there, but it really wasn't bad. It wasn't steep or anything. So we were able to go to the waterfall, and Cameron loved those kind of things just like me. And it's like everything we do without them, it's so bittersweet. Like, it's, I'm happy to be doing it, but all I can think about is how much I wish they were here. Um, so we did that, and then we went to downtown Bentonville where they have the Walmart Museum, and we walked through there, and it's such a cute little area. They had like little kids, like one of the little boys was probably 2, and they were riding on these little bike ramps, and it was kind of like a little setup that they had. I think it was a company. I think it was called like Buddy Pegs or something. They were kind of advertising that they do biking parties and stuff, because biking is such a big thing around there. So that was cute. I FaceTimed my little twin nephews because they love bikes just like their dad. He's obsessed. And they thought that was cool. And then me and my mom went eat at this cute little like cafe restaurant called the Press Room, I believe. And I was just so sad because that's so Lindy's style. Like, she loved the little cute little cafes and discovering new places. And it's just, I mean, everything we do, it's just, you know, it's just a reminder that they aren't here with us. Um, After that, we drove out to Eureka Springs again. We went to see the Great Passion Play statue man, the big Jesus, because my mom said when she was younger she remembered seeing that. So we drove out there, saw it. He's huge. He's like 67 feet tall, I think they said. Um, no, you know what? I think we did that the day before. Yes, we did. We did that the day before when it was yucky because I remember it being cold and yucky. So scratch that. We did drive to Eureka Springs again though. That's when we went to the zoo. So they had this like wildlife thing that we saw signs for, and I told my mother-in-law about it. She's like, "Oh yeah, that's the drive-through zoo." So we went to that. That was an adventure. That was funny. Um, I'll see if I can insert a clip here. I'm not sure. I'm not great at editing YouTube videos.
The bird. Not the bird. Look.
So we ran out of animal feed, but I mean, we can offer you crackling. No, you don't have a palate for crackling? I do apologize. Oh, he's way too good for crackling. So, me and my mom do not like animals, y'all. I'm sorry. We don't like abuse animals or anything, but like, no, not for me. I just don't. I tried. I tried to be like a cute little dog person. I'm just not. It's not there. It's not in us. So that was funny. I'm glad we did that, even though we hate animals. It was funny. It was so nice to laugh. Then we went drive to downtown Eureka Springs. Um, we wanted to get down and walk like around all the cute little shops and stuff, but we could not find a place to park. Like, I think they had some kind of St. Patty's Day thing going on because they had like a ton of people in green, and it was just jam packed. So we couldn't find a place to park, but it wasn't that big of a deal. We went back to the Airbnb, we got dressed, and we went to dinner. And it was funny because the waiter that served us was from Lafayette, which is right where we're from. And he said that 5 years ago, him and his girlfriend went on a trip to that area and they fell in love because it was so beautiful and they moved. So I was like, oh, is this a sign that we need to move, Mom? Because I just love it there so much. I'm sorry, y'all. I love Louisiana culture. Like, I just love the culture down here, but the weather sucks and it's ugly and the roads are terrible. I don't know. I'm just ready for a change, honestly. It'll be like a good while if we would ever do anything, and I would definitely take my mom with me, but oh, I just love that area. But as far as grief on this trip, so Saturday was a good day. It was a great day. I mean, you know, every time we saw something beautiful, we thought of Cameron, we thought of Lindy when we were downtown, and then we were going to this little like gift shop type thing, and they had 3 cardinals painted on the outside window, which, you know, they all say cardinals, it's like a sign or whatever. And underneath the picture it said art by Cam or something. I'll put a picture. But you know, that was just kind of like a sign. And nothing specific reminded us of Christopher, because y'all, he was just such an easygoing guy. But me and my mom were just like, he would love it here too. I mean, there's something for everyone. So I mean, it was as good of a day as we possibly could have had. You know, we still had our moments. And then on the way back from driving around Eureka Springs, my mom remembered that it was prom night. So Christopher and Marissa should have been going to prom. It's a junior and senior prom. And, that was just a big blow. And right when she remembered that, the principal sent me a text message with a video saying, hey, it's prom night. I have my kids with me. She had all her jewelry on that represents the kids. And, it was really sweet and thoughtful of her to send that. But it was just so hard. And then we saw the pictures of Marissa. I'll put one here. She looked beautiful, but it's so hard to just see her alone knowing that Christopher should be with her. So, mom started crying and she was like, dang it, I thought I wasn't gonna cry. So that was, it was sad. And it's like every time we pass a cemetery, we're both in our own mind silently thinking about the kids. Like it reminds us of the kids. They have a ton of churches in this area. I'm talking like a church on every corner, and like every church we see with like three crosses, we think of them. So I mean, like, it's like I don't see how we could ever live to our fullest extent of happiness again. I just, like, something is always missing. Oh, I'm about to cry just thinking about it. But like, we loved life, and that, like, our life prior to December 17th is gone. And it's just sad because I don't want to be like this sad person, and I know the kids wouldn't want me to be, but there's such a big hole without them here. So the trip was good. So on the way home the next morning, Sunday, I woke up, and I don't know if it's because I knew we were going home. I don't know if it's because I knew we were going to pass the accident site, but I was a mess. Like the whole morning I was trying, I had my sunglasses on, and I was like, anytime I would be about to cry, I would try and hide it because my mom is sad enough on her own. She doesn't need my sadness. So when we crossed into Louisiana, and I think the first mile marker when we got back on I-49, because the route kind of takes us like on and off it for whatever reason, I noticed the mile marker 199, and I swear to you, I think I counted every mile marker from 199 to 41. And at mile marker 56, I got extremely emotional. Mom got extremely emotional. We were both silent. You can hear us both sniffing like we were just crying, knowing what we were driving up to. So we stopped, and the flowers that were there were kind of like blown all over. So I tried to fix them as best as I could. I had brought a bag full of artificial flowers and these little holders, and I was gonna try and make the arrangements while I was there, but I just didn't get around to it. So I used the existing flowers that were there, and I added some Easter arrangements to them. I sprayed them with some stuff so like the sun doesn't fade them. We looked around at all the debris from the car, like that. They had like an entire window on the ground. Like there's a ton of debris. I really didn't have anywhere to put it. One day I'd like to go and pick it all up, so when they cut grass, they aren't hitting all of it. But it's just such a tough reminder to know, like that's where Lindy died. The other two made it to the hospital, but like that's where Lindy lost her life. You can still see POI, for point of impact, spray painted in the road. But we were super emotional. We stayed there for like 30 minutes. Got home, and I was just extra emotional, like more than normal. And my husband was like, how was the trip? And it's like I was on the verge of tears just even to answer him. And the point of this trip was to get away and just have a little break and moment of fresh air. And it's almost like it backfired. Like I got back and I was in a worse emotional state than when I left. So the next day, I was going to start work on that Monday. I haven't worked since the accident. And I love my job. I like what I do, but I have to think a lot. I use my brain a lot. And what I'm learning with grief is I have a limited amount of brain power, and grief is taking up a lot of it. So I'm not mentally ready to go back, but I mean, I can only take off for so long. I think legally I have until next month, but I mean, I don't think much is going to change in a month. So when I woke up that morning, I noticed I had an email from the FMLA company and something wasn't approved. So I had to kind of deal with that. So I didn't go back yesterday, which ended up being a good thing because I was extremely emotional. I cried the entire morning. My mom had PT at 9:30. She had PT and OT. So she called me after and she said, "I'm having a horrible day." And she started crying and I said, "Me too." And we talked for a while. She said she walked into Walmart and they were asking for donations for suicide awareness, and just that just hit her hard. Like, it was just sad. And she said she cried at PT. She just cried the whole morning. And I told her, I said, for Cameron's birthday, we were so busy that whole day because we had the Kendra Scott event. We really didn't cry as much as we thought that day. And then the next day, it's like it caught up with us. And then a couple weeks ago, she went to some of her family's house. I only went for a few hours, but she stayed the entire day. So she really didn't cry that much that day because she was visiting the whole day. Well, the next day, she was extremely emotional. So with this trip, we went on the trip and we cried here and there, but not like the normal amount of crying. So after this trip, what I'm learning about grief for me and my mom, me and her a lot are like. My aunt, my younger brother Kyle, and my dad are probably the other three that are just really day by day struggling. And they all have their own ways of grieving, but I'm finding me and my mom are very similar in our grief. And what I learned this weekend is grief does not allow vacations. You cannot get a break from it. It will simply be postponed and it will come back tenfold. So all the grieving that we did not do during the weekend came back on Monday. Ended up having to take some anxiety medicine so I could just be above water. Like when you get in those kind of grieving moments, it really feels like you're drowning. And sometimes you just need a little help to get above water. So this morning, I hadn't got my approval letter yet, so I didn't go back to work, but I'll officially go back tomorrow. But Cameron had went to the public school that I'm zoned for like, I don't even know if it was a year, but she used my address. The public school that my mom is zoned for is, so she used my address. So this morning I checked my mail and I got, let me show y'all. So it's order your yearbook now, addressed to Cameron Simmons. So I get that in the mail this morning. And then my husband wants me to freshen up his resume. They have a job opening like within his company that he wants to apply for or whatever. So I used to do resumes for a lot of people. It's just something I'm good at. So I have like a ton of random people's resumes saved in my computer. So I sat at the computer and what's right there? Lindy Simmons' resume, last edited April 2021. And I opened it and it's just like all her little photography stuff. It's just never ending. It's a really never ending. I feel like if it was one, it would still be horrible. Not saying we would be doing great, but I feel like I could maybe see I feel like I would maybe see a light at the end of the tunnel where one day I would be okay. But with 3, it's like It's truly like a merry-go-round of grief. You're sad about one, and then this reminds you of this one, and then this reminds you of this one, and it's just constant, and it's really, really difficult. I don't see how life will ever be good again, and it's just so depressing because I loved life. I liked living. It's just so crazy what one man's decision did to us and so many people. The ripple effect of what he did, man, it's really just, I can't even, it can't be measured. It's horrible. So I just wanted to get on here and tell y'all about this weekend. I know that you guys want me to tell you the story about when we told my mom. I did tell that story on a live before. I think I can get through telling y'all that story right now. I have to go pick up my little boy from daycare. So someday soon I will get on here and tell y'all that story. Bye, y'all.